Good afternoon. Can we, give these amazing superstars one more round of applause? And not the golfers, not the golfers. There it is. Thank you all for that. Lisa, thank you for the kind words. As Lisa said, that I am Dwane, Chappelle, the proud Director of Education and Early Learning for the City of Seattle. And just wanted to thank all of you for supporting our Families Education Preschool and Promise Plan that's committed to serving our families and communities and focusing on equity and closing opportunity gaps to make sure that our young children have a better economic future. So I want to thank you for that. But before we dive into just having a discussion with these amazing superstars, I'll allow you all to tell a brief something. Introduce yourself to everyone.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anitra Pinchback-Jones, the proud principal of Rainier View Elementary. It's an honor to be here. Also, just a special recognition and a sincere thank you on behalf of the community to Amazon for this year's Right Now Needs Fund and the newly shared information for this summer. That is critical for supporting students and communities, and just on behalf of Seattle children, thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Chris Carter, proud principal of Mercer International Middle School. I've done a lot of reflecting of my career. This is my 24th year in education. I started out as an elementary school teacher in Long Beach, California in 1995, and currently I'm principal, obviously, at Mercer. And I'd like to also just say, although Dwane introduced us a bit as superstars, that I suppose in our homes, maybe I'm a superstar, but my daughter doesn't think that, I'm sure. But it's really the work of our staff and teachers that are so outstanding and dedicated, and we're here as a representation of the communities in which we serve as well, so I want to make sure I say that. So I'll pass it to Treena.
Hi, my name is Treena Sterk, and I'm the super proud principal of Eckstein Middle School. I'm happy to be here, and I couldn't be more pleased to be sharing the stage with these two fine principals. I absolutely agree. It's the community that we serve. It is the teachers, the instructional assistants, and the families that do the work, and I'm just really proud to be here. Thank you.
All right. I'll start us off with fielding the first question, and it is, describe your school environment and tell us a little bit about the culture, the students, and the community. And Mr. Carter, since you have the mic, do you mind taking the first question?
Sure, Dwane, I'll do that. So Mercer is really a big, comprehensive middle school. We're just short of 1,200 students at Mercer in grades 6 through 8. Just the demographics of the school, we're 60% free and reduced lunch, and 22% of our students are served through ELL program. That's English language learners, 15% IEPs. We really reflect the community of Southeast Seattle. And although we do great things at Mercer, we also, this will come up in our panel discussion, but you know, we have so many varying and complex needs that we need to meet every day with kids, that it's also a bit challenge as well as an honor. Just real two quick points that I'll say at Mercer. I was reflecting back for today, and I was looking at our a partnership that we started 2 decades ago with our Nest Home Foundation. Let me give a shout out to my Nest Home partners over here. In 2000, that's about when we started our partnership, less than 30% of our students were meeting standard in writing, and I think we're at 12% of our students meet standard in science. And I was looking at our data, we got as high as 86% of our students meet standard in science, and over 70% of our students meet standard in ELA. And what's fascinating about that story is in that time, the demographics at the school have not changed really significantly. A little bit, the city is changing a little bit, but what's changed is what adults do. And so the impact of what we can do for our communities is immense.
All right, Treena, do you mind answering the same?
Well, that's hard to follow. So I'm Eckstein Middle School. We're in the northeast section of Seattle. My school looks much different than Chris's school, but we have different kinds of challenges. My population is 85% Caucasian. We have a wealth of resources in the community coming through parents. But the challenge at my school has been that when you have a demographic like this, what happens to the 15%? What happens to the kids who are coming in every day and they see socioeconomic differences? How do you create a safe, identity-safe community? How do we create that? And how do we make sure they have the supports in the school day and outside of the school day to feel safe and to not only meet standard, but exceed standard in the community and in school. So that's what the demographics of my building look like. And again, it is adult behaviors, 100%. It is not the students, it's adult behaviors, and that's the work that we do.
And Ms. Pinchback-Jones, I'll let you answer the same.
Yes, I'll take a little different approach to describe the community for Rainier View Elementary. I have the fortunate opportunity to welcome students in kindergarten. Let's go ahead and give a round of applause for kindergarten students and families. And I know I say that lightly here, but I take that with full responsibility because I get the opportunity to work on the front end with the first introduction to formalized education for the Rainier View community. So we're an elementary school, kindergarten through 5th graders. We serve in the Southeast Seattle with wonderful teachers, parents, as well as I'm happy to report that Rainier View was open 8 years ago, and students have responded well with academics and often exceeding district and or national academic standards since we've been in the reopen from the Seattle School Board.
And Anitra, what I'll ask you this next question, but also want to just share a little bit about as my colleague, one thing you don't know is that, so my children attend after school programs and they attended with some of your schools, with some of your students, and I often walk in frequently seeing the rigor and the work that they're doing, and they speak highly of you. So this question is, if you're going to choose 3 words to describe the strengths of your school, what would those 3 words be?
Hard work, high expectations, and commitment.
Mr. Carter?
Can I just use the same 3 words? I'll add, I think specific, those same 3, that's a cheat, I guess, but consistency, we do, did I steal yours? I'm sorry. There's a consistency and predictability at Mercer that all teachers rally around to make sure it's predictable and safe for kids. And I would also I'd use a warm demanders, high expectations, but always working with urgency.
I know, you did cheat. You had a couple words in some of those. So I would also add open-minded. We have to learn what we don't know. Commitment and focus, a real focus.
Treena, hold the mic for a second. So you and I have been principal colleagues before, and many people don't know this isn't Treena's first time serving as principal at Eckstein. So knowing the challenges as a principal, what are the challenges you're working to overcome as a principal?
I think the challenges are every day in what we do. We can make a commitment on that brain level and even that heart level of what the right thing is to do and how we're going to focus people. I can go out and I can inspire a group to do the work, but the challenge is how do you move that from your brain and your heart to your hands? What does it look like in the classroom when you have a reluctant learner? Being nice is important. Understanding some cultural responsive techniques is important. But how do I help that kid write that essay? Those are things that have to happen in the classroom. We can't just have an after-school intervention. We can't just have a program over here. So the challenge for me is always that professional development and growth of my teachers, my instructional assistants, my custodian, my lunch workers, because a lot of times those are the people that come in contact with our kids. So the work for me that's always the challenge. The second challenge is how do we extend this work beyond the doors of the school? I can work with my staff around cultural responsive training. I can talk to students directly about race. I can name the problems, the issues, and what we're up against and what we're working towards. But how do I extend that into the community? How do I bring families into the school? How do I coordinate with other large community service organizations? Because we're all large and we have to speak the same language to do the work.
Ms. Jones, can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
I think one of the challenges as a principal is just time. There's a lot of stakeholders and partners that we work with on a day-to-day and annual basis that we value, and we know as relationships strengthens, then the work can go deeper for children. Also, just to continue to build on the opportunity to provide additional professional development for teachers, finding time to do that within the school day, but also beyond, and then continual strengthening of partnerships with community members is always just an ongoing effort for building principals.
Inherent challenges in the work that we do in trying to meet the myriad of needs that come up every day, basic needs, academic needs, social, emotional needs. So just trying to understand how to connect resources together, connect people, access resources is a huge challenge that we have every day. So partnerships are key. The other thing that I'll just add in, I know we're 60% free reduced lunch, I mentioned that before, and our kids don't look like our audience here. We have 10% of our kids are white at Mercer, 25% African American, 20% Hispanic, 40% Asian, and a range of different nationalities in the Asian category. But they don't necessarily see themselves as future employees in our region. And that breaks my heart when they don't see a relevance between what they do every day in the school classrooms to actual skills and employable skills. So I would love to see us build in terms of a challenge. How can I connect my families and community to real life opportunities outside the school classroom that actually leads them to careers?
Thank you for that, Mr. Carter. Mr. Carter, tell us a success story.
Yes, a success story. Obviously, well, not obviously, but years ago I was involved with the Global Cities Education Network here with Seattle. Somehow I stumbled in this great opportunity and got a chance to visit city-states around the world and went to a few places I'll highlight. Singapore was one educational system I got a chance to see. And I came back, I completely stole their teacher leadership program. And one thing I'm proud of is how we support in skills capacity building for teachers at Mercer and staff, and that they turn into leaders. And I stole that from Singapore, so that's something I'm proud of. And then our emphasis on Tier 1 instruction for all kids, making sure kids have access to outstanding instruction. And then I just wanted to highlight, I think now's the time where we'll show a video clip. I think ultimately our success stories are in kids. And I wanted to share just a quick little 2-minute video of a student at Mercer who was with us last year as an 8th grader. She's in our high schools now. And just her story. And it really connects to our partnerships. Again, I can't say enough about our partnership with the Dwane Foundation, my partnership with Mia Williams at Aki and Jeff Clark at Denny as middle schools that work so closely around literacy.
Thank you, Mr. Carter, for showing that amazing story of success. And I appreciate, it's interesting how the story is aligned to what we just heard the superintendent talk about, literacy. What you just spoke about, leading with race and equity, is also what you guys are doing, what we're doing as far as the strategic plan says, focusing on students further some educational justice. So appreciate you being a leader and continuing that great work. Next, question number 5, Treena, I'll kick this off to you. What strategies have had the most positive impact for the students in your school?
I would say the number one strategy has been being very, very clear about what we're doing and holding that accountable every day, not just in a teacher's actions, but my actions and student actions, and naming it. A lot of times we get in the habit of making goals for people, making goals for students. This group of students will do this group of students. But how often do we engage the students in that work of aligning that? So my goal is to have my plan for my school aligned with my goals, with teachers' goals, and with students' goals, and to get their impact or their input into that work. And I believe that when we did student-led conferences this year, we had 94.9, I don't know where the decimal comes from, but 94.9% participation of all of our families. I mean, that's a huge amount participating. And a lot of that is going to families, going to their homes and doing it, meeting them places. But the fact that I believe that to have students leading their conferences and setting their own academic goals and then sitting with their parents to look at that and then make goals for the fourth quarter is all about really aligning what you're doing.
And for me, I think one of the strategies that I lead with, but also partner with the instructional team on, centers around literacy. As the opportunity to lead an elementary school, as mentioned before, the importance of healthy beginnings in all of our school is something that resonates deep for me, as well as our teaching team. And so professional development in literacy, high quality instruction are strategies that we continuously evaluate, but also continue to get better with at Rainier Elementary in all of our classrooms.
I would probably lean on our development of teachers. Again, we can't do this amazing work without really skilled adults, teachers, classified staff as well at our schools. And I would say in terms of strategy is again, employing the strategies I stole from Singapore and putting them into action.
All right, thank you. And what I'll do for this last question, and I'll actually say this, that, you know, it's interesting, and I'm leaning in, listening to Mr. Carter, because, and I keep picking on you, Mr. Carter. I have the privilege of my wife, you know, working for Mr. Carter, so a lot of things that he's doing at the school, she's coming home trying to say, hey, Mr. Carter does this. I know about your checklist and a lot of other things you're doing to change culture, so that's why I'm looking and listening and learning. So that's one thing I've learned from you. And so that leads into this next question is, what's one thing the community can do to help you all succeed? What is one thing the community can do to help you all succeed?
I would say active partnership, and, you know, connecting, and I don't know how this would be done as a system level, but definitely giving I mentioned this earlier, but our students need opportunities in the world, and they don't have that right now, and they desperately need that. So I would ask you to connect with us, connect to the district, and make sure that there are internships, apprenticeships, skills, things kids can go out and do that quickly.
I would also like to add, just supporting our teachers. We all know and can agree that every child deserves a quality teacher in every classroom. And so support of our teacher goes a long way, not only for teachers, but students, making sure that teachers have what they need, have resources for professional development, and also supporting students, such as the Right Needs Funds. That was very, very well done this year and impacted a lot of families in different ways that we have not seen before in our schools. And then also support our communities. Each community in Seattle is uniquely different, but we're all still together as part of Seattle.
I would say, look at your sphere of influence and then question your sphere of influence and say, is my sphere of influence equitable? And see what you can do to reach as many people as you can in small ways. Because if everybody in this room does something and makes those actions, it's simple. I mean, there's small moves every single day, but look around your sphere of influence and see how you can reach people that maybe aren't sitting right next to you.
So what I'll do is just ask and just say this, that I know you all know that their responsibility is larger than just academics. They're responsible for your kids, for my kids, for the community's kids. And I just want us to give them, not the golfers clap round of applause, but let's give them a round of applause for what they do and for being up here and being amazing people.